Have you ever had one of those mornings where you wake up, sit on the edge of the bed, and just feel your age a little more than usual? Maybe your knees creak, or your balance feels a little off, or you catch yourself wondering when everyday things started to feel like a workout. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not stuck with it. Aging doesn't have to mean slowing down or giving up control. In fact, some people find they feel more powerful in their 60s, 70s, and beyond than they did in their 40s. The difference? It's all in the habits. So let's talk about that. About the small daily choices that can actually build your independence, not chip away at it. Because staying strong, sharp, and capable doesn't come from doing anything extreme. It comes from weaving just a few simple practices into your everyday life. Things that don't take hours out of your day, don't cost a fortune, and definitely don't require a gym membership or a degree in nutrition. In this video, we're going to walk through 5 daily habits that truly help keep you independent and strong. These are things anyone can do starting today, and they're not about turning back the clock. They're about living well right now, feeling strong enough to carry your groceries, having the balance to take the stairs without worrying, being clear-headed enough to make your own decisions and speak up with confidence. That's what independence is, and it's still yours to own. Let's start with something simple. Getting up and moving, first thing in the morning. Now, I'm not saying you need to throw on sneakers and run laps before breakfast, but here's what I do suggest. Get your body moving as soon as you can after waking up. Maybe that's just standing up, doing a few gentle stretches, walking slowly around your home, or even doing seated leg lifts while you sip your coffee. The point isn't to break a sweat, it's to wake up your muscles. You see, after a night of sleep, your body is stiff. Your joints have been still for hours. Your blood flow is slower. So when you sit on the edge of the bed and go straight from sleep to stillness, your body doesn't get the message that it's time to start the day. That's when things like balance issues, morning dizziness, or weak knees creep in. But just 5 or 10 minutes of movement can signal your body to re-engage. It helps your circulation, activates your core muscles, and can even reduce those little aches that pop up out of nowhere. I know a man, he's 72, who swears by doing his morning mobility. Nothing complicated, he just walks around his living room twice, reaches for the ceiling 10 times, and marches in place for a minute. It sounds so small, but he hasn't needed a cane or walker, and his doctor says his muscle tone is better now than it was 10 years ago. It's the consistency that matters. And once you've gotten moving, the next thing that makes a big difference is staying hydrated. Now, I know you've probably heard this 1,000 times. Drink more water. But here's the thing. After 60, your body's thirst signals can get a little weaker. That means you might not feel thirsty, even when you really are. And when you're dehydrated, your muscles feel more tired. Your brain feels foggy. You get dizzy standing up. Even your digestion slows down. All of those things can make you feel less steady and less in control. So how do you make drinking water part of your day without it feeling like a chore? One easy trick, keep a glass next to your bed and take a few sips as soon as you wake up, before coffee, before breakfast. It kickstarts your metabolism and gets everything flowing. Then try sipping throughout the day instead of chugging a whole glass all at once. You can even flavor your water with lemon, cucumber, or a splash of fruit juice if plain water doesn't appeal to you. And no, coffee doesn't count for hydration, no matter how good it smells in the morning. It actually dehydrates you, especially when you drink it without water first. So think of water as the first act in your daily routine, a little gift to your body that says, we're in this together. Something else people don't always realize is how closely hydration is tied to mental sharpness. A foggy brain, trouble concentrating, forgetting small things, that's often less about aging and more about dehydration. I've seen people bounce back from senior moments just by drinking more water. Really. The best part is, these two habits, morning movement and hydration, actually feed into each other. Moving makes you feel thirsty. Drinking gives you energy to keep moving. They work together like a little engine that keeps your day and your body running smoothly. It's amazing how starting the day with a little intention can change everything. It's like planting seeds first thing in the morning. You won't see flowers right away, but by the afternoon, your energy is up, your mood is lighter, and you feel just a bit more in command of things. You're not being swept along by the day, you're steering it. And that's what independence really means, isn't it? Being the one steering, making your own choices, not feeling like you have to depend on others for every little thing. It's about having the strength, physical and emotional, to live on your own terms. And that kind of strength doesn't come from luck. It comes from habit, from practice, from showing up for yourself in these small but powerful ways. Now that we've talked about getting your body moving and staying hydrated, those little foundational pieces, it's time to go a bit deeper. Because once you've started your day with movement and hydration, your foundation is set. But now let's talk about something just as vital, your brain. Keeping your body in motion is important, but your independence also depends on staying mentally sharp. Making decisions, remembering details, processing conversations, all of that keeps you feeling confident and capable. So, what's the daily habit that helps? Simple. Use your brain in a new way every day. Now, I don't mean you need to start learning calculus or memorize every US president in order. But the brain loves a little challenge. It craves novelty. Think of it like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And the best kind of exercise for your brain is something that makes you think just a little bit differently than usual. That could be doing a puzzle, reading a book you wouldn't normally pick up, or learning something new. Maybe a new recipe, or how to use that tablet your grandkids got you. It could even be as simple as taking a different route on your morning walk, or trying to write with your non-dominant hand. Anything that breaks the pattern and gives your brain a fresh path to walk. I know someone who started learning Spanish in her 60s, not because she needed to, but because she wanted to visit Spain one day. That daily practice, even if it was just 10 minutes a day, kept her mind engaged. And the ripple effect was huge. She said her memory got better, she felt more alert, and she even started sleeping better because her brain was getting just enough stimulation to feel used, but not overwhelmed. This habit doesn't have to be formal. You don't need to enroll in a course or invest in expensive software. It's about intention, choosing to do one thing each day that isn't automatic. That makes your brain sit up and pay attention. Because when your mind is clear and focused, you feel more in control of your day and your life. And speaking of control, there's another habit that might surprise you. It's something that helps not just your mind and body, but also your mood, your relationships, and even your physical health. I'm talking about meaningful connection. That's right, daily connection with others. Now, before you say, I talk to people all the time, hear me out. I'm not just talking about chatting with the cashier or waving at a neighbor. I mean real connection. A few moments where you feel heard, respected, and engaged. Where you're not just passing time, but sharing it. This could be a phone call with a friend, a walk with someone from your building, even writing a letter to someone you haven't spoken to in a while. When you make connection part of your daily life, on your terms, you stay mentally and emotionally strong. You're reminded that you matter, that your voice counts, and that's something no number of supplements or exercises can replace. Now, I know some people feel isolated, especially after retirement or if they've lost a partner or close friends. That's real and it's tough, but it's also possible to build new connections. Join a local group that shares your interests, maybe a walking group, a book club, or even a volunteer organization. Or if going out is hard, find one person you can reach out to regularly. That consistent emotional connection becomes a kind of anchor. It keeps you grounded, supported, and it reminds you that you're not invisible. You're valued. I once met a woman who made it her goal to send one encouraging text message a day to someone she cared about. Sometimes it was her daughter, sometimes an old neighbor, sometimes a friend she hadn't seen in years. She said that simple habit not only made them feel good, it made her feel more alive, more purposeful. And that's a beautiful kind of strength, the strength that comes from connection. And while we're on the topic of emotional strength, let's not forget about the power of routine. Having a daily rhythm, a few predictable things you do every day, gives your mind and body a sense of stability. It's like a gentle structure that holds you up, even when life feels a little shaky. Routine doesn't mean rigidity. You're not locking yourself into a schedule, but having a few rituals you return to, morning tea on the porch, a midday walk, a crossword puzzle before bed. These are the quiet little habits that build emotional resilience. They give you something to look forward to, and that sense of rhythm keeps your days from blending together into a fog, especially after retirement. When your calendar isn't full of meetings or appointments, having a routine can keep you feeling anchored. You're not just waiting for life to happen, you're living it with purpose. There's something very empowering about knowing this is my day. These are the things I choose to do. It reminds you that you're still steering your ship, and no matter what anyone else thinks or says, that is independence. And here's something you may not hear enough. Just because you're older doesn't mean you've lost your strength. In fact, you may be stronger now than ever before, but in different ways. Maybe you don't lift heavy boxes like you used to. Maybe you take the stairs a little slower, but the strength you've gained in wisdom, in patience, in knowing yourself, that's just as powerful. And it's that kind of strength that these habits help preserve. When you choose to move your body first thing in the morning, when you hydrate with intention, when you challenge your brain with something new, when you reach out and connect, and when you build a gentle rhythm into your days, you're doing more than just staying busy. You're building a life that's vibrant, steady, and most importantly, yours. Because the truth is, nobody hands us independence. We create it. One small action at a time. One daily decision that says, I'm still here, I'm still in charge, and I've still got so much living to do. Next, we'll dive into a habit that often gets overlooked, but it might just be the most important one of all when it comes to staying strong, confident, and independent as you age. And that brings us to the last habit. And honestly, this might be the most underrated one. It's the kind of habit that can quietly shape everything else in your day, from your mood to your decisions to how well you handle stress. I'm talking about reflection, taking a few moments each day to simply reflect, to check in with yourself, to notice how you're feeling, not just physically, but emotionally too. What's working in your day? What's feeling heavy? What are you proud of, even if it's something small? Now, reflection doesn't have to be some deep meditation or a long journal entry. It can be a simple question you ask yourself over a cup of tea. What was good about today? Or maybe it's something you say out loud while brushing your teeth. Today, I'm grateful for. The key is to pause, to acknowledge where you are and how far you've come. Because here's the truth. When you take the time to reflect, even for just a minute or two, you're reminding yourself that your thoughts, your feelings, your experience, they matter. And that sense of self-awareness is one of the most powerful ways to stay in control of your life. Reflection also helps you notice patterns. Maybe you realize you always feel more energetic on the days you get outside early, or that your mood dips when you skip breakfast. Maybe you see that certain people leave you feeling more drained than uplifted. When you take that daily pause, you start recognizing what serves you and what doesn't. I once knew a man in his 70s who kept a tiny notepad by his chair. Every night before bed, he'd write down one thing he learned that day. Some days it was a new bird he saw in the backyard. Other days it was a thought he had during a phone call with a friend. He said it helped him end the day feeling like it had mattered, that something had happened worth noting. And you know what? That habit gave him a sense of progress, of being engaged in his own life, not just passing the time. And let me say this, your life is not just about routines and checklists, it's about meaning, and reflection helps you find it. It reminds you that your story is still unfolding, that you're still learning, growing, and discovering new pieces of yourself. So when you combine this habit of reflection with the others, movement, hydration, mental engagement, meaningful connection, and daily rhythm, you're not just staying strong and independent, you're actually creating a life that feels whole. Now, I want to say something that might hit close to home. Sometimes when we talk about independence, people imagine it means doing everything alone, lifting the groceries yourself, refusing help, powering through even when you're tired. But that's not what real independence looks like. Not at all. Real independence is about choice. It's about having the ability to decide what works for you and when to ask for help. Not because you're weak, but because you're wise enough to know what you need. That's strength. That's control. And that's what these daily habits help reinforce. They're not about being perfect. They're not about pushing yourself to extremes. They're about building a foundation bit by bit that supports the life you want to live. Because here's something nobody says enough. You deserve to feel proud of yourself. You deserve to wake up and know that you've created a life that reflects your values, your goals, your spirit. And you don't have to wait for anyone's permission to start. Every time you choose to stretch your legs in the morning instead of staying in bed, every time you pour a glass of water instead of reaching for another cup of coffee, every time you pick up a book or call a friend or simply sit quietly and breathe, you're investing in you, in your independence, in your strength. And those investments pay off, maybe not in flashy, dramatic ways, but in the little things, the way you carry yourself, the confidence in your voice, the steadiness in your step. People might not always notice the habits you're building behind the scenes, but you will feel them. And that feeling, that's where real independence lives. Now, if any part of you has ever wondered, is it too late? Let me stop you right there. It is never too late to make a change, never too late to try something new, never too late to feel stronger, brighter, more in control of your own life. You're not stuck, you're not too old, and you're not invisible. You are still becoming, still learning, still capable of choosing how you live each and every day. So if you've made it this far with me in the video, I want you to do something for yourself. Just one thing. Pick one habit we talked about today. Maybe it's that morning stretch, or that call to a friend, or a quiet moment at the end of the day, and try it. Just try it once, then try it again tomorrow, and the next day. Watch how it feels. Watch what shifts. And if you're already doing some of these things, wonderful. Keep going. Keep choosing yourself day after day. You've spent your life showing up for others. Now is a beautiful time to show up for you. If this message spoke to you, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Share something you're proud of, or a habit that's helped you feel more in control. Let's create a space where we can all support each other in this journey of strength and independence. And if you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It helps more people find this kind of content. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more encouragement, tips, and real talk about living your best life, no matter your age. Here's to you. Here's to your strength, your story, your next chapter. Because independence doesn't end at 60, 70, or 80. In many ways, that's when it really begins. Keep going. You've got this. Here's to living your best life at any age.